Hello. Ooh. Everyone's settled. I know a few of you, like me, love the 1930s. There's some really gorgeous ones from that era. So we're starting off with this one, which is a Weldon's pattern. Weldon's 73622, and it actually is a pattern for teenagers, so I might have to size it up a little, but I love the puff sleeves and the opportunity to do a, what do you think, Pixie? A contrast yoke and bow and puff sleeves, perhaps. I think that could look really pretty in two contrast colours. And then I have a really pretty 1930s shirt-waisted dress, and actually one of my goals is to make a shirt-waisted dress from each era. That is a Hollywood pattern 1637, Jane Bennett. Sweet little night dress pattern as she is holding her hairbrush, and that's a style pattern, style number 36. There's quite a few, aren't there? And this one, Simplicity 2407, and look at all those 30s details. I'm going to do the whole shebang and have this one with the puff sleeves, the ruching, the bow at the waist, the big frill around the neck, and then I'm also going to put the frill around the hem. Give through the works at it, I think. But isn't that a rather gorgeous one? From, I'd say, about the mid-30s, wouldn't you? I reckon. Then I have, it's exciting, isn't it? This one, it's McCall's. Look at those 30s details. I mean, just so good. And I could see those wonderful little pocket details. Maybe that's calling for a little bit of colour blocking, I think. I'm really excited about that dress pattern. I think it's really rather fabulous. And I've got this little cutie with the puffed sleeves and the little scallops detail on the bodice, and that little pointed waistband. I think that will look, that could look pretty too. And this little wrap over effect 1930s pattern, it's a Simplicity 2998. The reason that, I mean, I would have got it anyway, I know, but the reason I really had to get it is look at those butterfly sleeves, how pretty. So it's got this kind of wrap over effect top and a high waist, and those gorgeous butterfly sleeves. It's got a long sleeve version, but the butterfly sleeves have to be done, don't they? I think. And this one, flat pointy colours. They're so classically 1930s, aren't they? And I thought it was a bit different, this one, because it has the little zip up front and a very full skirt. Either gauze, but actually on a quick look at the pattern, I reckon that is going to be pleats top stitched down just over the hips. Another one that's just a little bit different. And then it's Simplicity 3130, and it's a kind of peasant style outfit. And of course they were really popular in the latter part of the 30s, those peasant style puff sleeves, gathered neckline and dwindle skirts. So I thought that was a bit of a 30s classic. And then this very pretty little dress. I love square neckline, and I like both versions of the sleeves. So we've got the usual 30s, late 30s puffy sleeves, but also some quite voluminous sleeves for the long sleeve version too. I think both versions are a dress, but you can create the effect of a top and skirt by making the dress up in contrasting fabrics. So that would be really pretty, I think. And then this little Weldon's pattern calls itself a day frock. It once belonged to Mrs. Taylor. I really like the little contrast cuffs, those little contrast turn-up cuffs, and the fullness over the hip with the flatter front. I thought that could be really flattering and pretty. Flattering is always good, isn't it? Yes. And then this pretty little number, which I love, the scallop neckline, an advanced pattern, advanced 2100. You've got this scallop sleeve and scallop neckline, and then a choice of bows or a little button down front. So quite simple really, just with that pretty detail of the scallops. Yes, Pixie, like you. Oh, pretty. Yes, as your friend collapsed, she has, mother. Okay, yes, now we're moving on to, this is either late 30s or early 40s, and it's a best way pattern, and I love the gathering under the little shoulder yokes, the little patch pockets, and the opportunity to use two different kinds of fabrics, which of course that was often the way for the war years. You might not have enough of just one fabric, so patterns often give you the opportunity to mix and match your fabrics. So I think that's a real pretty little one. And then nice little pattern for early 40s pyjamas. Do you want to make a pair of 40s? You're yawning again when I'm talking, Pixie. Do you really want to make a pair of 1940s pyjamas? And that is, don't groan either, Rabbit, I heard that. And that is Advance 4526. And this little butterick pattern, classically 40s. They did love a pinafore dress in the war years because it was so useful. Vogue always said make it in grey flannel, go with everything. It's shaped at the waist, the little buttons, and then you could wear your short or long sleeve blouse beneath, and it has the blouse pattern with it too. And another little 40s pattern for pyjamas, and I think they look really comfy, don't they? Yes, pair of pyjamas. Be nice, won't it, Poppet? Yes, another. Let me see it in that bag. It's falling apart a bit, so I put it in this bag. It's another 40s pinafore dress, but I love pinafore dresses. They're so cute, aren't they, in the 40s? And again, you have instructions for that blouse as well as your sweet little square-necked pinafore dress. It's quite a full skirt, actually. This pattern, New York Gold Seal pattern, 1652. It doesn't say it's for teenagers. Oh, yes, it does. Oh, no, sorry. It says Mrs. and Ladies dress in 2 styles, so that's all right. But look, gorgeous. It's got this sailor collar, and then you've got your matching patch pockets. You either have the button down front or a plain front. It says emblem included. I've had a quick rustle, I couldn't find it. But even if I can't find it, it will be easy enough to make it up. But look at the way on this one, the stripes on the cuff mimic the stripes on the little sailor collar. A bit different, I thought. And here we have, what I like about the 1940s is it just does what it says on the tin, a useful coat. Sort of 40s swing coat with quite exaggerated shoulders that they liked in the 40s. Some of these patterns are slightly falling apart, and the one that's fallen apart is this little one, and it's just a simple shirt, but what I really liked was the detachable frill on the front. I thought that was rather pretty. And then we have, still yawning while I'm talking, a simplicity pattern, classically 40s, looks a bit utility skeevish. One, it does have the opportunity for colour blocking, and I like the arrangement of buttons. It looks quite plain in itself, but I thought I could do some really pretty things with that. And then this little dress with a little jacket, and it is a Simplicity 3277. It's like a classic wartime little outfit, isn't it? It's almost the start of a little capsule wardrobe in itself, with your little short jacket and pretty puff sleeve dress. That would be just a classic wartime look. Oh, and this is a rather gorgeous one. When I start my shop, might try and do a version of this pattern for you, because isn't it just so cute and useful? It's just a little button under the chin hood, but you could do it in lots of different styles and decorate it in different ways. So this will definitely be a little project for the future. Now, this one, so it's a bit ratty. I wasn't absolutely certain how to date it. It's an advanced pattern 4877. This sounds bizarre to say, but it could be 30s and it could be late 40s. Rather 30s thing of the bow fed through the loops at the front. It's probably 30s. But it's got a bit of a late 40s look about it, hasn't it? Anyway, pretty, whatever era it is from. Now moving on to the late 40s, and then this pretty square neckline with the collar arrangement either side of the square neckline. It's a Weldon's pattern, Weldon's 315, and there are the two versions with the short sleeves and the long sleeves, and I just thought that was rather pretty, rather different kind of neckline. And then this late 40s, which I really like. It's this one. I love it in the plaid, with the plaid used on the straight of the grain on the bodice and then the bias cut skirt. And I love the really big pointy collar and the puffy sleeves. I think that is really pretty. And look, it's another gem, isn't it, really? It's late 40s. Look at the pockets. Oh, I should say this obviously came with Woman magazine, Woman special bargain 4890. It's just full of gorgeous details. Look at that little button fastening at the neck, the trimmed collar trimmed with bias binding, that wide waistband, and then the U-shaped pockets. I mean, it's pretty, isn't it? It's snuffling around in the loft like a badger to find some rather gorgeous 1940s patterns that I knew I had up there. So let's have a quick look through them. Got some rather wonderful blouse patterns, including this one. And what drew me particularly to this one was the contrast yoke, and I particularly love the playfulness with stripes for this option. In fact, I've been gathering together a whole lot of vintage photographs and patterns with ideas for varying the direction of stripes and plaid on the pattern. Personally, I think it could make a really fun and informative video. I'm just not sure anyone would watch it. But anyway, that little blouse pattern, me design number 18. Then I have this little pattern that I bought from a vintage fair, and I was just drawn to the illustrations. I love how she looks like, in the best sense of the word, a kind of ordinary 1940s woman. You can imagine that blouse being part of the utility scheme in a plain or plain sensible fabric. McCall 4744. And then another gorgeous 1940s blouse, and I have actually made plans to make this very, very soon. I found absolutely beautiful 1940s fabric at a vintage fair, and I'm hoping, not much of it, but I'm hoping I might get a 1940s blouse from it. So that will be coming up in the next few weeks. And I think this pattern, Economy Design number 157, it's just so pretty, isn't it? I love the curved shoulder yokes, the button down front with the frill. Lovely. And then this really simple little dress pattern, which I found at the same fair as the very utilitarian blouse. It's quite a utilitarian dress, really. It's a drop waist, but with the ruching at the waistline so that you still have that pretty hourglass shape. And then another sort of mid-40s number. It was the scallop bodice that drew me to it. I think they're so pretty, aren't they, scallops? Bit of a nightmare to do them nice and evenly. But I've got quite a few scallops in my pattern, so I'll soon be getting quite a lot of practice. And then this in its bag, because like many of my patterns, it's slightly tatty and falling apart, but I love this little shirt waister of the kind of dropped shoulder yokes and all that gathering over the bust, and the button down front into the curved waistband. I think that would be a really wearable and flattering shirt waister. And that's Practical Patterns. And then look at this style pattern. It's style 345. And what I found really intriguing was the idea of doing a translucent overdress over a slip. I've seen that done in the 1930s as well, and I think that could be a really unusual and very pretty style to sew. And then I was drawn to the scallop neckline again. That's an advanced pattern 5791. It's very simple, very pretty late 40s design. And talking the late 40s, I've got this one. I mean, isn't that really pretty, flattering dress? I love the frills over the hips and the scoop neckline with a frill. I think that would just create, again, a very flattering shape, really colourful and wearable. If you saw my late 40s pattern video, you'll just be able to picture that dress made up. And that's a New York pattern 1157. And then also in the late 40s. Now, I am actually quite excited about this pattern. I know it looks quite basic perhaps. That's what I like, because one of my ideas, sometimes people say to me, oh, do you run out of ideas for your channel? And the truth is, I have so many ideas. I just want to do them all. You probably feel the same as a dressmaker, don't you? There's no chance of running out of ideas. There's so many things you want to sew. It's time, isn't it? Time. But anyway, one of my ideas is I really would like to focus on house dresses, comfortable but pretty dresses that we can wear around the house. And this one from the late 40s I thought would be perfect. I love those huge patch pockets, that kind of rather, Doris Day jaunty look, especially the button down version, I think. Yes, so I can imagine that made up in, like, for summer, cheerful cotton, or between the seasons in a Viella. So hopefully I'll have time to do that one soon. That's a New York pattern. This is falling apart a bit. This is a little blouse pattern from the late 40s. Just love the little turn-up collar and the bow at the neckline. Very dainty. Yes. And that's Weldon's 1245. And then there's a little Leachway pattern, 12754. And I've shown this to you before in my vintage fair haul, but I just wanted to show it to you again because it's a late 40s pattern, and I think the little applique shapes around the neckline are so pretty, and actually something that you could do without a pattern, couldn't you really? Just a little idea. And then lastly, Butterick 4880, which just drew me because of the tiered skirt, which I thought was something a little bit different. So that's it, and I've got two little people that were telling me it's their walkies time, so better get going. But thank you very much for watching, and I hope you will like this video, and join me next week when I will be sewing a rather fascinating late 40s dress. It is a bit different and I think rather special, so I hope you will join me next week to see that. Thank you for watching. Bye.